Hi, this presentation is about the article Building Shared Understanding of Wicked Problems, an interview with Cognex's founder Jeff Conklin from pages 16 to 20 of Rotman Management by Karen Christensen in 2009. The purpose of this article was to share Conklin's belief about wicked problems, why they exist, what they are, and suggestions on how to address them. Conklin introduces the age of science as the time we spend concentrating our efforts on describing the universe and developing rules and facts in order to better exercise our control over the natural world. Facts were accepted as the only basis for solutions and used to legitimise both actions and the decisions leading to them. The emerging age of design is described as being about tackling not what is, but what might be, with competitive advantage resulting from learning and innovation rather than relying on existing facts. It's about being able to get outside of the limited framework of business as usual and sense and reflect on the bigger situation in order to think for themselves and develop the networks and tools required to identify and understand more complex modern issues and wicked problems. In describing what a wicked problem is, Conklin refers to the 11 properties of a wicked problem offered by Horst Rattel. However, offers that only 6 of these are essential. The first, he says, is that you don't understand the problem until a solution is developed, as possible solutions uncover new aspects of the problem. The second point he makes is that there's no stopping rule, as there's no definitive solution. The third point states that solutions are not right or wrong, they're merely alternatives, as no one owns the problem nor has a clear idea about all possible solutions. The fourth point is that each wicked problem is unique in its own way. Problem understanding is actually the more important and evasive part of the process. The fifth point is that every solution is a one-shot operation with its own consequences and success. And the last point is that there's no given alternative solution, as the solutions produced are limited to the creativity and judgment of stakeholders taking part of the process. Conklin goes on to offer that identifying a wicked problem can help to prepare for a different approach and style of leadership. Attempting to tame or simplify a wicked problem will always fail in the long run, he says. The problem will simply reassert itself, perhaps in a different guise, as if nothing had been done, or worse, the tame solution will exacerbate the problem. Conklin does offer some advice on dealing with wicked problems. Wicked problems, he says, demand an opportunity-driven approach and create decisions based on narratives, which give us a more coherent understanding of the full scope of issues. By partaking in robust and healthy processes designed to make sense of a problem's dimensions, we can go beyond seeking a right answer and instead seek to gain a shared understanding of possible solutions. There's a new understanding that project work is fundamentally social and that communication among stakeholders must be managed and nurtured into both a coherent social network and functioning entity. He goes on to offer that problem structuring is a critical aspect of the design process, that you need to take into account the diversity of goals, assumptions and meanings among stakeholders and combine problem understanding and solution formation into a cyclic process. Dialogue mapping is about disregarding static PowerPoint presentations and moving on to interactive or live documentation, which can be in the form of a whiteboard, computer program or other editable display. In order to overcome wicked problems, you'll need to deal with fragmentation, he offers. Fragmentation is a condition in which the stakeholders see themselves as more separated than united, with some collaborators convinced they're correct to the point of excluding other voices. To tackle fragmentation requires shared understanding and shared commitment. Shared understanding requires a deep and robust understanding of the circumstances and is considered the apex of effective collaboration. This can only occur when stakeholders understand each other's positions well enough to have intelligent dialogue about their different interpretations of the problem and to exercise collective intelligence in relation to how to solve it. In summary, wicked problems and social complexity have caused fragmentation, which is obscured by a cultural condition of resignation and denial. This condition of organisational pain is so chronic that it's faded into the background of the organisational experience and is assumed to be inevitable. Once this chronic condition is diagnosed and understood, however, we are ready to identify and adapt to the emerging age of design and deal with wicked problems. We need to overcome the natural tendency to find fault with others and simplify the problems, and step back and take a systemic view so we can see that the issue is our collective failure to recognise the recurring and inevitable dynamics of the mess the world is in. We need to develop the processes, networks and tools to innovate and address more complex and wicked problems by harnessing our potential to collaborate towards solutions that can evolve as readily as do the problems of the modern world. After reviewing Conklin's responses, I'm left pondering the scope of his reference to shared commitment. which is mentioned but not adequately defined. I'd also recommend a revisit of the terms age of science and age of design, as they don't seem to necessarily add anything to the main point about wicked problems. The connection of the term age of design to wicked problems is never clearly established. I was impressed, however, with the way Conklin described the degradation of the traditional problem-solution implementation process and with his insights into the future of solving wicked problems. The document is definitely relevant to wicked problems as it offers three separate takes on what a wicked problem is. First, by directing the reader to the truncated works of Horst Rittel, sharing a historical and developmental approach to wicked problems, and finally by encouraging a diagnostic and collaborative approach to dealing with such problems.